Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Klinger2. In today's video I'm just going to be going over Dr. Disrespect's game that seems to be being worked on currently. I don't think it has anywhere near release date, so let's just get into it. So mainly this goes off some tweets that Dr. Disrespect has tweeted recently. I'm just going to read them real quick. So basically the first one here we got that basically says the concept of digital collectibles in an online game is so exciting to me, especially in an extraction type game. So from what I understand, this is like an escape from Tarkov type game where you go into a predetermined map, and you and about maybe 10-ish people go into this map, and you can fight basically PvE enemies, and you gain loot, and then you extract. That's the point of these games, and that's cool. The game Escape from Tarkov is really cool. I think the idea of it's pretty cool. So this could be a very cool game on that front. As far as the transactions goes, pretty much the NFTs with extracting this gear and these items being worth money. Here he's toting that basically imagine trying to extract an item that you discover that's worth $100,000 on the chain. And he goes on to say it's a lot of entertainment, and it is a lot of entertainment, but that's just not true. I really just don't think an item can be worth $100,000 and be worth actually $100,000. Now, I might be completely mistaken on that, but I just don't feel like a video game asset has ever been even remotely that expensive. And this has been done before. I mean, not really through games, but through third-party sites like CS:GO trading, through World of Warcraft, selling your account. There's been things like this that have happened in the past, but it's not really regulated by a lot of these game companies because selling things into real money becomes a big issue from a video game transaction into a real life transaction. And this comes up with some issues as well. So I'm just going to basically go over what I think is essentially what's going to happen, okay? So the expectations for this game is the top row. It's free to play, you're playing it, and then you get this item in the game that's an NFT, it's on the blockchain. You go to sell this at a marketplace shop within the game, maybe a third-party site, and then it cashes out. Let's say you make $100 off this item, right? Because it's for some reason it's either really rare or it's $100, okay? Well, the issue comes in with cheaters. So cheaters can come in with bots that basically play the game without them being there, or just have hacks. Just straight up have hacks. So they see you through walls, they shoot you when you're about to extract, they steal all your crap. It's just how it is with money, People want the expensive items, and if you have it and they see that you have it, you're probably going to die before you can even get to an extraction point. So they take 4 of those items that you sold to make 100, and now it's worth only $20. So this will happen over time, but with bots, it's going to happen exponentially faster than what it normally would take for just a player base of average humans, unless there's an inflation in the amount of items that can be used. Let's say there's a bunch of common items and there's only like a few rare items. Well, those rare items are going to be very expensive, and this is how just supply and demand works. This is very common in card games. Anything to do with the Steam marketplace as far as skins go for CS:GO stuff, basically have your rarities, and if you hit a really high rarity item, it's a very small percentage drop rate that's going to be innately more valuable than anything in the common bracket. And that's just how it goes. So supply and demand's a big thing in these games, and I played New World, and I can tell you from firsthand that most in-game marketplaces, within about 4 months, it goes to absolute trash, and it's unrecuperable by the game standpoint. So I'm interested to see how this goes. There is ways around this, I feel like. Now, this is getting more into things people don't really like to talk about, but I think for the fairness of people's sake, I think people should be able to cash out in-game assets to real-life money. And I think this should be a very easy thing to do. But I don't agree with it being an NFT as much as I just think it should be on the shop. Okay, there should be like a marketplace. I think like Steam Marketplace. But instead of being transaction back to the Steam Marketplace, you can actually cash that out into like a PayPal or something along those lines. I think that'd be very interesting. But this is just some ways that I think you could potentially alleviate some of this. So basically, the first row is having a shop like every other game in existence currently. It's a multiplayer game. If you have a shop, someone buys an item for, let's say, $10, $20, and that item becomes now not available, that item becomes innately more valuable over time after that initial closing date. So even if you release a skin for a week and you close it after that, or you have a skin available for 2 years and then you close it after that, if your game can sustain within 5 years, that 2 year skin is going to probably double or triple in value if it was anything that was worth, people liked it or something like that. Like the thing I can think of is like the John Wick skin or the banana skin. Those skins might rotate in the shop, especially like the John Wick skin may not rotate in the shop, but the banana skin probably does. But the banana skin's like an icon, like Fortnite. If they took that out of the shop permanently, that skin would be worth more money over time. Same thing with like the Black Knight from the Season 1 Battle Pass and stuff like that. So to an extent, I kind of see this being a really big deal that could happen with skins, and I think it should be available to actually do this for cashing out or trading with people in-game to money. Now, I also think that the people who make the game obviously take like a portion of that. It's just how it goes, you know. If you're on a marketplace and they allow you to do this, they deserve a cut since they're allowing you to do it, you know. So it makes money back to them, and they're initially selling it and then selling it again. And then they get money for that, and they sell it again, and they get money for that. It just keeps rotating. So eventually, they're making a ton of money back on it for something that was initially $20, but the players are also getting money back on it because they can cash out for their own sake. Next up is just basically making crates from CS:GO be a thing, since this is probably not monitored. If this is actually having NFTs in it, I doubt this is monitored by the ESRB. If it is, I don't know how he's going to pull this off. He might have to start his own client base like League of Legends, where he has his own like clientele, like Escape from Tarkov. I feel like it's about the only way he could possibly do this for having an NFT game. So with him being able to do that, he can put crates in the game. So I think having the crates would be an option, again, to make people pay for the drops that they get and then hold on to them and then potentially sell them for actual value. A bot can only do so much if it involves money. That's how I see it. Basically, that involves the person. The bot can rack up all these things, but that involves the person behind the bots to actually invest the money to try and make an investment back. And I use the word investment here because it is very possible to do this. I do think in video games, it is a very possible thing people could make investments. I'm not actually joking on that. And the only reason I say that is because there's collectibles. Collectibles are a big deal as far as cardboard is concerned. Cardboard and Pokemon cards, Magic cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, they all have a very innate intrinsic value to them, depending on how rare they are, depending on where they come from. This can all determine the value of these assets. Should they be as valuable as they are? Probably not, but they are, and people actually pay for them. So to say that can't happen in video games is ludicrous. Absolutely insane to think that can't happen in games. Now, I don't think you should play a game for the money's sake, but it's an additive benefit to having a game that gets very popular. Okay. Next up is just exclusives. So if you make an exclusive, like I was trying to talk about like the shop, you make an exclusive for a Christmas skin, you make an exclusive for a 4th of July skin, or maybe a lunar holiday from like China or something like that if you want to go like outside the US, or like a Day of the Dead skin from like Mexico. You know, these skins can eventually, they phase out, and you make new ones every year, but the original ones, some people have like really big nostalgia for them, so they really want to like bump up that price if anyone really wants to buy them, you know, because they're going to be rare. That's just how it goes. Or like a beta skin, for instance. Next up, we got tournament exclusives. Tournament exclusives would be like running a tournament that hopefully has no cheaters in it, and then the winner of that tournament gets very exclusive stuff, so that they get an exclusive skin, exclusive probably gun skin or something along those lines, some like clothing item. And those do extremely well on every avenue as far as cardboard is concerned. As far as any Pokemon Illustrator, anything tournament wise is extremely expensive, even in bad condition, because there's just like 2 copies of it. If you only have 2 copies of something, it doesn't matter if it's literally like, as long as it is basically in nice condition, like you can see it, it's worth a lot of money. It's just how it goes. And the older these tournaments get, if the games keep going forever and ever, because I honestly believe it's getting really close to having games become a very mainstay in media, where basically they can start having these very long lasting games if they keep updating them consistently with certain aspects. I can't say that every game's going to do it, but there is going to be probably about 4 or 5 games. But if they can successfully pull off this transaction thing, where people that spend tons of time in these video games can take that and make some money off of it, it will greatly increase the incentive for people to keep playing these games. 100%. And if they can like basically limit the amount that a bot has to persuade the market, maneuver through the market, it's going to make these games very valuable and very like people want to get good at them. If you want to make a really cool tournament, make a prize cash. People only get paid a little bit at the Pokemon, like the Masters in the Pokemon League. But the thing is, they get a card that's worth 3 times as much as what they got paid out because it just doesn't get printed ever. Okay, it's a one and done. Next up is a season pass. This is standard. Every game has a season pass, just like a shop now. But the thing is, season passes could have limited skins that are only to that season. And you don't have to do Fortnite where they switch seasons every so often. You can play it like League and do a season that's like every half year. So if you don't play for that half year, as soon as that season ends, that skin appreciates in value. Boom. That skin no longer exists, basically. It is literally whoever had it, that's it. So if you hit a dead zone in a season, for instance, this happened again, Pokemon, like Gen 3's era in Pokemon cards was not doing that hot. It was actually like a really low printed set. And people don't really know that unless they are in the card world. But really, Gen 3's card sets should be worth more than Gen 1's card sets. But the thing is, a lot of the base set and stuff like that is completely diminished. So that's just another thing. But when it comes down to it, what I'm saying is, if the game starts going through the ups and downs, and on the downturn of a season, the players who played through that season and they got these limited skins, and then an uptick happens, and those skins are no longer available. Those skins that were really hard to get, they're not hard to get. No one was playing the game at that time in comparison. So those skins immediately increase and appreciate in value. This is how you create a market, in my opinion, that doesn't actually ruin the integrity of a game. And it also kind of sways away from the bots. But the initial thing has to be, if you're free to play, you have to be able to buy these skins. You have to be able to buy something, and the reason is because if it's all free, it's all worthless. It has to have an initial cost, and I don't like saying that, but it has to. 100% has to. If you want to make free stuff that's cool, it will never be worth more than pennies. I mean, when I say pennies, $5 maybe, $10. But to make something that actually can appreciate in value, it has to be some form of limited access thing, and it can't be overdone. Okay, this is all very intricate and has to be done. It has to be tested. This is breaking new grounds as far as gaming is concerned, but this has been done many times through cardboard, and this could be rejected by the community just as easily as I'm saying this could work. So it's all up in the air at this point. This is just my take on it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye.